In the mid-18th century, Americans moved relentlessly westward. They were driven by a desire for land and resources. In order to justify this expansion, the idea of manifest destiny came about. James K. Polk was a firm believer in manifest destiny, and he looked for any chance to expand the nation's borders. When Mexican and U.S. troops skirmished in the disputed territory between Texas and Mexico in May of 1846, Polk saw his opportunity. He sought to use this battle as an excuse for war with Mexico, a war he hoped would gain more territory for the U.S. A young congressman from Illinois, named Abraham Lincoln, did not believe Polk's claims about the start of the war. He doubted whether the battle had actually occurred in American territory. President Polk had sent an army into the area, and Mexico had responded in kind. Lincoln believed that this move was an unnecessary action, and that Mexico was well within its rights to send an army into the same area. In order to get the explanations that he desired, Lincoln put forth a resolution to the House, requesting that the President come before Congress and give specific justifications for the war with Mexico. Lincoln's resolution focused on the three primary reasons that the President had given for war. The first area he focused on, which earned the resolution its name, was the location or spot of the incident. Lincoln questioned Polk's claim that the area in which the battle had taken place was actually on American soil.
Therefore, resolved by the House of Representatives that the President of the United States be respectfully requested to inform this House. First, whether the spot on which the blood of our citizens was shed, as in his messages declared, was or was not within the territory of Spain, at least after the Treaty of 1819 until the Mexican Revolution. Second, whether that spot is or is not within the territory which was wrested from Spain by the revolutionary government of Mexico.
Secondly, Lincoln questioned whether the people living in the area around the battlefield, whom the soldiers had been sent supposedly to protect, in fact considered themselves to be Americans.
Fifth, whether the people of that settlement, or a majority of them, or any of them, have ever submitted themselves to the government or laws of Texas or of the United States, by consent or by compulsion, either by accepting office or voting at elections, or paying tax or serving on juries, or having processes served upon them, or in any other way.
Lincoln also asked the President about the orders that had led the soldiers to be in conflict with the Mexican troops. He wanted to know if the soldiers and their officers had been acting under orders at the time, and in fact, if the troops needed to be there at all.
Seventh, whether our citizens whose blood was shed, as in his messages declared, were or were not at that time armed officers and soldiers sent into that settlement by the military orders of the President through the Secretary of War. Eighth, whether the military force of the United States was or was not so sent into that settlement after General Taylor had more than once intimated to the War Department that, in his opinion, no such movement was necessary to the defense or protection of Texas.
While in the end, Lincoln's resolutions were not adopted, they did set the tone of the opposition's protest to the war, that they would be based on the principles of honesty and conscience. These themes would come up later in Lincoln's career, when he faced a much different challenge as president.